Everybody, we'd like to welcome you to the second Cinekyd Celebrity Gala 1991. Welcome. We're glad you're here. My name is Roger Gordon, and I'm a board member at Cinekyd, and I've been involved for many years, and I love Cinekyd and all the things that it does, and you'll be hearing a lot about Cinekyd tonight, and we're pretty proud of the many wonderful things that happen. I have a few introductions that we would like to make, and then the food will be coming out here very, very quickly. First of all, I would like to introduce the Honorable Judge Elaine Burkhoff, who is here. Where is Elaine? Here she is. Lovely lady, and we're very honored and happy that Elaine is with us. From the Upper Moreland School Board, I'd like to introduce first Tom Bannon. Where is Tom? And also like to introduce Tom Murph. He would stand up. I'd like to say something about the orchestra tonight. You're listening for the second time to Leroy Heppentrager, one of the great bands of our time. And during dinner, they're going to imitate the bands that, now you kids, you sort of have to bear with us, because they're going to be imitating some things that your parents and even your grandparents knew, and maybe your great-grandparents, possibly. They're going to be going back into the 1940s and 30s, and maybe a little of the 50s, and imitating some of the great bands of those eras. And what we'd like you to do, at your table, informally, have a little fun, see how many bands you can identify tonight that they are imitating. They do a lot of them, and it's a lot of fun, and the person who wins this, I don't know, what do they get? Well, they get the satisfaction, I guess, of saying, I know a lot about bands of the 40s and the 50s. Okay, at this time, I would like to introduce another very close friend and board member, Mike Spack, who is going to make a very special presentation.
Good evening. I have the privilege once again of introducing our celebrity hosts for the evening. I'm also a board member at Cinekyd, and after you get finished hearing what I've got to say, I know you'll be thoroughly bored. But thank you. You know, it's a privilege to introduce these hosts and these celebrity guests because they give a lot of time, and I'm in the broadcast industry, and in the broadcast industry, time is a very, very scarce commodity. Our money is generated by time. People are running around, and they're looking at time all the time. We have a watch, and it's constantly on our mind. And so for these celebrities to turn around and give time to Cinekyd, these people are very, very privileged, and we are very, very happy to have them here because they have given so much to Cinekyd and the organization over the past years. They were here also for our 10th anniversary, and once again, they're here again this evening for our 15th anniversary. And right now, I'd like to introduce a gentleman who has to run because he's going to be on television, so once you're finished here, you can run home, turn on KYW, and see the fellow who presented us with a beautiful evening tonight. The weather is beautiful. He's given us Indian summer. And most of the time, like other weathermen who are wrong, this man is generally right because he's right on top. He's a meteorologist. I used to work with him at WIP. And I'm waiting for Tom someday to write a book. He's an authority on oldies, and I'm waiting for that book to come out, and I'll buy the first copy. But I'd like to introduce Tom LeMaine, KYW TV.
Thank you, Mike. Well, the oldies don't go back as far as the 40s, though. I'm going to flunk that quiz real quick tonight, Roger. I do want to thank you for allowing me to interrupt your format tonight, but I do have to be back to do the news tonight. When we talk about 15 years in relationship to how long the broadcast industry has been around, 15 years is a very short time. And those of you who have been associated in those 15 years should feel that you're a pretty privileged group of people. Any kind of formal education that can start at the grassroots level with youngsters, the way Cinekyd does, has got to be a step in the right direction. And I think some of my colleagues will agree with me that maybe out of this group, we'll get somebody to handle the business who knows what they're doing. Because we have quite a few in our business who have no clue. I don't know how we've gotten this far. As Mike told you, he and I first met in radio. I started in radio and have been in television now almost as long as I've been in radio. One main thing that I would like to pinpoint here, and a question that was asked me by the interview crew here, what would I recommend as far as what youngsters should do? And the bottom line is education. I can't say completed my education because I don't know when it will be ended. But in 1986, which is just 5 short years ago, less than 5 years ago actually, I received my master's degree from Drexel University. And that means I've been going to school longer than I've been living. I haven't figured that out yet. But in times, I think I'm going to be a professional student. And when I grow up, that's what I'm going to be, a professional student. Education can never end. The reason I went to school again at such a late date and started to take subjects I didn't like in high school all over again and was in class with students that were half my age was because I made the transition and the change from sports to weather about 6 or 7 years ago. And to put the official stamp on that change, because so many had known me as a sportscaster in television, I thought that I would take advantage of the opportunity that Westinghouse offered to further your education. You get the 2-point grade average, and they'll pay the bills. I never had a 2.5 grade average before, but that's just what incentive can do for you. And I wanted the liberty and freedom to be able to do my own forecasting, and at the time, there was not a registered meteorologist on the air in Philadelphia, and that, too, was part of my incentive. So, again, I reiterate that you are never too old or never too young to get any kind of formal education. And I think the education that starts at the Cinekyd level here is really something that's unique, and as I mentioned before, something that you all should be proud of and feel that you're very, very privileged to be a part of. Thanks again for inviting me here, and congratulations on your 15th.
I'd like to read the award for this evening, and it says, the members of the Board of Trustees of Cinekyd Enterprises Incorporated present Tom LeMaine, the Youth Service Award for your special efforts to reach young people in our community. The children of Cinekyd Enterprises will always remember your kindness and concern as they strive to follow your example of leadership, character, and dedication to excellence. It's proudly presented on this night to you, Tom. And thank you very much for joining us. Okay.
My pleasure. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike and Tom. And a little bit later after dinner, we have a number of other celebrity things that we will be doing, and we'll be going on to even more awards and some other exciting things that will be happening this evening. And now, just before dinner, it is my pleasure to introduce another board member of Cinekyd and a very close friend of mine, Joe Rooney.
Roger didn't know what the prize was for the guessing of the band. It was the chandeliers. So whoever wins it, don't forget to take them with you. All right. I think that before we have our dinner, it would be nice to have a little prayer. Bless us, dear Lord, and bless all those who are here this evening. Bless those who have given their time and their effort and their talents to be with us. Bless the food which we are about to receive. We thank you, Lord, for providing that food which you have provided, which human hands have made. May you always be at our side and never leave us. Amen.
Well, I'll tell you, this is my first experience here. I've read something about the organization, and I think it's terrific. In fact, we recently had a story on our newscast about this organization, and I was really impressed because I really hadn't heard about it before then. And I think it's terrific in what's going on, particularly learning to do this kind of thing hands-on at an early age, if you will.
I think Cinekyd's really been almost 100% responsible for the success that I've had in the field. And the Celebrity Gala, the 15th anniversary, it was a really nice get-together. It was really nice. I wouldn't miss it.
Well, I think it's a good idea because maybe by the time some of these students graduate, they'll know how to run the business, because we got some guys in the business now that certainly don't know how. But there is never should be an end to any kind of formal education, whether it's learning how to run a camera or learning how to hold that light without burning your hands or interviewing a person. My education, I don't think, has ever ended. I completed my master's degree just 4 years ago, and I think this formal education that Cinekyd provides here is part of that continuing education.
As you sip at your dessert, I'd like to bring back a member of the Cinekyd board. We're going to keep moving right along. Now, children, is the time that we are going to present some awards. Yay, all right. Hey, Larry. For those of you parents and grandparents, my name is Bob Clark, and I am ultimately responsible for some of the things that happen at Cinekyd. I'm delighted that you could be here this evening, but I have to tell you, if this crowd doesn't get a little livelier, I'm going to sing with the band, and then you're really going to be sorry that you came. May I introduce on that note the one and only member of our board who has enough contacts within the broadcast community to honor us with such distinguished colleagues, Mr. Michael Spack. Michael.
What's he talking about? I didn't bring no colleagues here. This is a lovely place. I used to be in show business before. I'll tell you how successful I was when I got out of show business. I was the only person who knew I got out of show business. But I once worked at this club, and this was like a really rough club. This was so rough. The owner used to, how rough was it, let me tell you? It was so rough. The owner used to stab me goodnight. It was so tough. The hat check girl's name was Rocco. What about this band, huh? Is this a nice band? You not go like it? Enjoy it? That same club I used to work with, they had a band that was so lousy that once a waiter dropped a stack of dishes and 6 couples got up and started to dance. Well, let's move on with our festivities. Philadelphia is very, very proud of the next people we're about to introduce. It's a great family. And the lady that we have and her husband has come here to join Cinekyd, and she, in her own right, has been helping children all along. She was working at William Penn High School and Olney High, in the math department, and she's been instructing children and kids. And her brother used to be the biggest babysitter in the world, because my parents and millions of parents across the country would take their family, drop the kids off at the nearest local theater so we all can go and enjoy the Three Stooges. And I'd like to now introduce Lila and Nate Budnick, and here. We're so proud because 2 weeks ago, one of our organizations, the Three Stooges fan club, were able to put a plaque down at the home where they grew up, and it was a very auspicious.
Well, I just would like to say a few words of thanks to everyone who has asked me here. I want to say that I understand very fully what's going on at this organization because my brother had his start as a youngster working in a neighborhood group of kids in a little act called the School Act. And from this, he became one of the Three Stooges. So there's really a future for anybody who's willing to work hard. Larry was being trained to be a concert violinist. He was quite a good musician, but he wanted to be funny. And so he started, as I said, at a very early age in Philadelphia with another group of youngsters, including the girl who later became his wife, and a lot of other Philadelphians who later became famous. And all of these youngsters that are working here, I'm sure, will in their own way become just as famous. And I wish all of them the best of luck, and I thank everybody here who is working to help these youngsters. Thank you all very much.
Lila, on behalf of the Cinekyd, we'd like to present you with a plaque. You can take it home and hopefully find a nice place for it. Nate, thank you very much. Nate also was road manager with the Three Stooges and also was their sound man, and we're very happy that you're going to, don't do that. Thank you very much. Thank you. It was always amazing because everyone in our neighborhood knew Larry Fine came from Philadelphia. So when he would come on and we would all cheer him, you know, anything that said Philadelphia, we used to go crazy. So it's always a pleasure to have something like that. This was just handed to me, if you can take a second. Well, the owner of a green Chevrolet license plate number DVY 63724-9LX381495Z2F32771. Would you please move it? Your license plate is blocking the driveway. I'm an old person. Here's a fellow I worked with a few years ago at WSNI. He was part of Cannon & Company, so when you heard Cannon & Company, he was the company. He's a wonderful, wonderful man. He's got the greatest infectious laugh that you'd ever want to hear. He's now currently working at WIP, and when you ever hear, look up in the sky, it's a bird, it's a plane, and most people say, no, it's Tony Bruno, and he's still flying around. To show you the dedication that, as I was talking about the people in the industry before, Tony was up at 4:30 this morning, and he still hasn't been home. And right when he finished WIP's shift, he came right over here. So, you know, these are the kind of things that you must admire about the people in our industry, that when you're talking about giving so much, this is part of giving. So we're very appreciative of that. Tony also, too, was at WCAU, and he was with ABC Sports, and he's now working currently at WIP on the sports, so you'll be able to hear him this coming Sunday. You'll tune in after the Eagles win the game, and we hope they do it. Tony, come on.
Thank you. When Mike invited me and I got the invitation, I saw 15th anniversary. I said, wait a minute, we just had one a couple of years ago. He said, no, that was 5 years ago for the 10th anniversary, but it doesn't seem like it. That time is flying, isn't it? Well, as Mike said, I've been in a lot of places, and unfortunately, most of the time, I've lost my... I've been very unfortunate in my career is that everywhere I've worked in the last 8 years, they've gone out of business. So I don't know whether that's me or... I've worked at a network in New York that went out of business. Then I went to WSNI, and they didn't really go out of business. They just cut back. Then I went to WCAU, one of the legendary radio stations in this country. They go off the air, change the call letters. Then I went to work for Shadow Traffic, and they were bought out. and now I'm working at WIP, and who knows what's going to happen there. But it's been a great business. I look around and see all the young people here tonight, and I remember I started at a very young age also, but I didn't have the tremendous advantage that many of the young people here have with Cinekyd. I started when I was 15 years old, and I really wanted to be in broadcasting. I don't know what happened, how it happened. I just got the bug, and I just went to school and decided that's what I was going to do, and I hooked up with a lot of local radio disc jockeys. I used to stay up at night and listen to them and say, one day that's what I want to do. I always wanted to be in radio, and obviously I didn't have the face for TV, so radio is where I went. And now 21 years later, I'm still in radio, and the people say, why don't you get out of the business? You've had all these ups and downs, and then you look around and you say, broadcasting is being affected a lot lately by the economy, but so is every other business, and it's really a great industry. As I mentioned, I see the youngsters here, and talking to Dave at the table with me, he's doing camera work. And when I was a kid, you just wanted to be in radio or you wanted to be on TV, and you went after it, and you really had to work hard to try to find someone who would help you. But with a great organization like Cinekyd, to see youngsters doing behind-camera stuff, on-camera acting, a lot of the skills that I've acquired over the years in working in various facets of this business, these youngsters have a tremendous, tremendous advantage of learning all these different technical skills at an early age. And the people at Cinekyd have to be commended highly for that. And my pleasure to be here again tonight, and hopefully I'll be here for the 20th anniversary, and hopefully I'll still be in the business. Who knows? Let's see, I've done sports, news, I'm flying in a helicopter every morning, I've done some TV. So I'm learning as much as these kids are learning now. It's taken me 21 years to do just about everything there is to do. The only thing I haven't done, well, I've done camera work too. In fact, in the shadow traffic helicopter, we do TV shots for Channel 3 on Dick Sheeran's morning show. So when you see those live shots on Channel 3, that's me holding the camera. So I've done that too. I didn't even realize that. Again, it's my pleasure to be here tonight. Thank you all and good luck.
Now, when you go home tonight and your wife says, where the heck have you been? You can say, here, this is where I've been at Cinekyd.
Thanks.
Yeah, okay. Thank you again. A few of our other celebrity hosts I'd like to make recognition to. The organizer of the most successful Three Stooges convention has been held here in Philadelphia. And these are the largest ones that you see. You constantly see them on Entertainment Tonight. Frank and Phyllis Richter. Frank, please stand up. Phyllis. They come from all around. Frank is wonderful at organizing these. And also, too, we have the current Grand Chief of the Laurel and Hardy Buffs Club, and Paul Kraft, and your guest, would you please stand up, Donna? He's very chic. This was just handed to me, I'm sorry. Will the owner of 56 Blue Etzel please move it? It's disgracing our lot. You didn't like that? I got a few more you may not like. I was really thrilled when this gentleman said he was going to be here. A few weeks ago, I was rummaging through some of my memorabilia. I came across a magazine that I had in junior high school, Fair Junior High School. And I'm looking through, and I look at the middle of the book where the staples are, and it wasn't Playboy either. And we put it in there, and all the pictures of the class members. I'm looking for all of the people's names to see how many I remember, and I come across Richard Sheeran. And I'm looking, I said, gee, would that be Dick Sheeran? And I graduated with Dick Sheeran. Sure enough, I talked to Dick this evening, and we're from our old alma mater, Fair Junior High School. So if you want, we can maybe sing Blue and Sand Forever, Fair Junior High. Okay. Dick Sheeran, this man gets more, KYW's got him all over. I think he should be a Miss America. He's got more time than Bert Parks is on the air, right? That's right. You've been to more than Bert has been done. You got more time than the NBC Peacock, right? You're doing it. But the man is really like Will Rogers once said, I never met a man I didn't like. Well, Liz Taylor also said that, too. But we won't go into that. But nobody in Philadelphia has to say that because Dick is one of those people that everybody likes. Dick Sheeran. Come on.
Don't give up the day job. I'll tell you, after hearing that litany from Tony here about all the places he worked and went out of business, we have a little advice from President Lincoln. Stay the hell out of theaters. You know, by the way, we majored in hoagie eating at Bear Junior High. How do you think we got like? Come on up. Look at this. Do you think we ate hoagies or what? Bookends, right? Bookends. Bookends. I've been in the business a while myself. Fortunately, I've only worked for one outfit, KYW Radio and television for many years, but I've seen a lot of changes. That's the nature of broadcasting, by the way, for you young people who intend to get into it. And as a matter of fact, at Channel 3, we had so many changes at one time, we had an expression. If the boss calls, get his name. Fortunately, we have had the same boss now for about a year or so, and he's doing well. Last time I checked. At any rate, somebody said, "Well, how did you last so long?" But see, you got to know the boss's name and also kiss his ring. That's the deal. But anyway, I'll tell you, I didn't really know about this organization until Rich Platt, who's going to be one of the recipients of your award. I've worked with him, and I didn't realize that he really cut his teeth in this organization, learning editing and whatnot. And once I found out about it, it kind of fell into place because I'd like to think we put some good pieces together, and you could tell that he learned early, and that's the way to do it. And the other morning on our newsday program that starts at 6 a.m., how many of you get up early, real early at 6? Yes? How about this, huh? It's an early rising crowd. All right. But anyway, we had a story about it, and I hadn't had a chance to really look at the literature, and wow, this is terrific. They're teaching videotape and lighting and the whole 9 yards to people at a very young age. This is terrific. So I'm impressed, and I'm very pleased to be here and to see such happy faces, and thank you very much for inviting me.
Once again, the Cinekyd organization they would love you to have this. Please take it home, and maybe in your office. I certainly will. Thank you. By the way, that was my Etzel. I'm sorry. That's okay. Right now, I'm finished with my portion of the show. Who said that? I turn it back over to Mr. Rooney.
Thank you, Mr. Spack. Okay, I'd like to ask all of the... take these off so I can see... for the next portions of the program so that they move along expeditiously, and especially so that those folks who are in a position that they haven't understood that you're, just like when you're at Cinekyd, I really prefer that you, as long as you're not running all over the place, that you move to where you can see. We're not going to be dancing for the next 10 or 15 minutes, so I'd like to ask the kids who are in our Cairo and in our track program, if you are not close enough to the podium, I'd like you to get up out of your seats and come on up here. Bring your cloth napkin if you want and sit on that. But you sit down here so that you don't have that far to go to come on up here and collect an award. And that goes for both sides. And any of the adults who feel that they'd like to come up here for the story hour, you're more than welcome to join us. That's great. Come on up. Assisting our couple of our esteemed guests and celebrities this evening, this portion of the program, let me tell the parents who are sitting there thinking, my God, when is this going to end? This really moves along very briskly. Let me tell you exactly what will happen. First, we present the membership awards because the kids have really been very patient and very cooperative. And they're staying up late and everything. We're going to present those, and Mr. Rooney has prevailed upon Tony Bruno and Dick Sheeran to assist, so that you will receive this first award from the hands of an honest-to-God celebrity. The second portion of the program is we'd like to honor our two special award winners and present both the Apollo Award and the Humanitarian Award. And then we conclude with our Special Youth Service Awards. Those are for unique and extended service on the part of our youngest to our oldest kids. It goes efficiently but meaningfully. And as you know, we are feeding all of the cable companies who carry Cinekyd Theater, which is why all of our cameras are here. Okay? I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Rooney, who will read the inscription. And when your name is called, if you would move efficiently up here, because he's going to keep going one name after another, so that you get a chance to come on up and have your picture taken, and that you're part of the program. Because after all, that was why we started Cinekyd in the first place. Okay, Joe?
Of course, I need these now. Unlike Mike, who got 30-30 vision. The Certificate of Merit from Cinekyd Enterprises, Incorporated. For your outstanding contribution to our success and your ongoing commitment to education in the communications arts, your pursuit of excellence is hereby acknowledged and recognized upon this memorable occasion, the 15th birthday celebration of Cinekyd Enterprises, proudly presented this 25th day of October, 1991. Brett Cole. Paul Cooper. Hope Curry. Will Fulmar. Ari Greenberg. Jesse Hainbury. Carly Kydell. Eric Maddy. Ashley Moore. Samuel Ostrov. Josh Sadell. Joseph Shenksky. Now for our track program. Manuela Bandras. John Paul Endicott. Keith Dunkerley. Jeff Feldman. Andrew Ferguson. Jake Fogelnest. Chris Frawley. Jason Frawley. Sammy Genstein. Adam Goldberg. Eric Kane. Frank Keating. Emily Kelly. Rosemary Kelly. Casey Kuhn. Scott Lazar. Patrick Layden. Larry Lieberson. Hal Lublin. Mac McAlpin. Eben McNamara. Justin Medeiros. Stephanie Masson. Daniel Moran. Daniel Alexic. David Rooney. Jay Rothkopf. Ryan Schlegel. David Simon. Allison Simonetta. John Simonetta. Susan Stroh. Blair Weichert. A round of applause for all our recipients.
Let me see if my worst nightmare has not come true. As carefully as we check the list, there's always the possibility, I don't want anybody sitting up here thinking that the night is destroyed, that they didn't get a certificate. Did we miss anybody's name at all? Everybody? After those jokes, nothing. Zero. Especially the Edsel joke. No. Okay, let's give our celebrities a big hand and give them a chance to... We have another round of awards for the kids, and I want to keep this moving along, though. We now inaugurate two of our most special recognitions. As Mr. Rooney, Mr. Spack, Dr. Gordon, anybody who's affiliated with our organization will speak of. We're not just very fortunate in terms of having celebrities or friends who are interested in the media. We have lots of folks who are from this area or from neighboring communities who over the years who have made contributions to our program. By the same token, as Mr. Dick Sheeran told you, there is something about a winner, especially the ones we're most proud of, the ones who come up through our program, that put them at the top of everybody's list. We have two awards this evening, one to recognize a most distinguished graduate of our program, and the other to recognize an individual who has done so very much for our program. And to that end, I would like to begin with the Apollo Award. I'd also like to say, I'm digressing all over the place here, that our friends, the Budnicks, have also brought with them, and Mr. Abbott is personally going to see that this is distributed, is this great photograph of, 40 years ago on this side and 20 years ago on this side. And a copy has been provided for you guys. There's a copy for everybody. A real classic, especially if you're a Stooges fan. And Mr. Abbott will see that before you leave, you get your copy. And we'd like to thank our honored guests for thinking so much of you and of us. Thank you very much. This is to Mrs. Nate Budnick. The Apollo Award, unaccustomed as I am. There we go. There's a great line in a John Wayne movie where his son in the film says, "You have to wear glasses, Paul?" And the Duke answered, "Only to see with." I've reached that point in my life here. The Apollo Award is our way of acknowledging those people who, like yourselves, started at a very early age, but through a combination of hard work and creativity, but mostly hard work, have distinguished themselves in their chosen field. The recipient of this first Apollo Award began in our program. Now let's turn the camera around because this is the funny part. Okay. When he was just a little fella. Remember, This Is Your Life, da 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 da. This was one of his earliest Cinekyd membership photographs, and he looked like a pretty normal routine. Now, a couple years later, okay, look at this sleek dude here, the camera. See this? We had to go digging to find these great pictures. There are shots of you at work, right. We had a few of them. Our first recipient is probably one of our most gifted videographers and ultimately one of our most talented editors. He was somebody who worked at his craft. You know, the thing I love is the fact that a lot of our kids go off and go to college and assume that if they get a bachelor's degree in something, especially in communication, that they're entitled to a job, and that this is one of the toughest fields in the world, as you keep hearing this evening. But here was a young fella who approached his career after college with the same zest and the same hard work that he used when he was part of our program. And we have in our library, thank God, a number of projects that he created that are part of our Cinekyd history. He is one of our most distinguished. We are most proud of him, not only because he is certainly highly creative, but because he sets a standard that other young editors will be following for decades, we hope. And that is that he works hard at what he does. His skill, his brilliance, the fact that so early an age that he would be recognized with a local Emmy is just absolutely incredible. He has all the signs of a winner. And as I read the plaque to him, may I present, so we all can see, the recipient of our first award from KYW, but first from Cinekyd, Mr. Richard Platt. Come on up here. We really are proud of him. You know, I could spend the evening telling you stories about different things that he had done, but he was incredible. He thrived under pressure, and we couldn't make it tough enough for him. The members of the Board of Trustees of Cinekyd Enterprises Incorporated do hereby bestow upon Richard Platt its inaugural Apollo Award for your accomplishments as an esteemed alumnus of Cinekyd. Your character, integrity, and professionalism have brought you honor. Your distinguished efforts in media arts have served as an inspiration to your family, friends, and peers, as well as the new generation of artists and creators who will follow the trails which you have blazed. Proudly presented this 25th day of October. God bless you and congratulations, Rich Platt.
Thank you. Thanks. When I look back at how I got to where I am today, I realized how everything that I've done in life is connected. And it's with all honesty that I say the Cinekyd was truly the first link in a chain of events that's really taken me further than I ever thought I'd go, especially at age 25. First of all, I have to thank my parents. Because if it hadn't been for them telling me to get off my butt and out from in front of the TV, I never would have joined Cinekyd. And when I first came to Cinekyd in 1979, as you saw on that picture, I was a shy 13-year-old, probably much like some of the students are. But really, I think the single most influential person outside of my family has got to be Bob Clark. And he's really something special. He took a special interest in me. I've never been really sure why. Maybe he saw something that he thought he could mold, saw some potential, and I'm glad that he turned out to be right. And he always knew when to give me a kick in the butt or a pat on the back. He always knew which one to give. And he's a real ego booster and a motivator. And but he can also be your harshest critic. And it takes a real special person to embody all those characteristics. And I think a real special organization to pass those qualities on to its students. Thanks.
These two. God bless you. We're so proud of you. Our second special award, there we go. Our second special award. This is our first humanitarian award. Testing. Now I'd like to read these wishes of to our recipient from some folks who could not be here this evening. Or just parts of this. From State Senator Stuart Greenleaf, this one paragraph of a well-written letter. By definition, a humanitarian is one who promotes human welfare and social reform. It is these concepts that our recipient embraced throughout his career as a teacher, during many years of community service, through his leadership role on the Montgomery County AIDS Task Force, and as a school director.